Good morning and welcome to Safeguarding Yourself, a workshop on identity protection. My name is Liz Hart and I am the founder and executive director of Tailored for Success. Tailored for Success is a nonprofit organization that provides customized workforce development services for job seekers of all ages and genders. Our services focus on building self-confidence in our clients by educating them in the most current interview preparation strategies, holding webinars focusing on soft skills that are in high demand by employers, and giving them access to free, high-quality business clothing in a supportive atmosphere. Today's webinar is part of our Reimagine Your Career webinar series, a monthly webinar series on topics of interest to job seekers. This webinar will be recorded and shared with all participants after the webinar has concluded. I'm happy to be partnering with PNC Bank to bring this webinar to you. This is actually our second workshop with PNC Bank. I ask if you have any questions, please leave them in the chat and I will be monitoring the chat during the presentation and interrupting our speaker if it's appropriate. Otherwise, we will have questions at the end of the presentation. Feel free to leave your video on, but please mute yourself unless you are talking. So let's get started. It is my pleasure to introduce Kelly McCarthy, who will be presenting to us today. Kelly McCarthy is the Solution Center Manager for PNC Bank. And Kelly, I'm happy to turn the presentation over to you.
Thank you, Liz. Hi, everybody. I am so honored to be here today. My name is Kelly McCarthy. I am the Solutions Center Manager here in the Linfield Marketplace. I have been in banking now for almost 20 years, and I have pride myself on working with clients and helping them with their financial goals. Because as you know, next to your health, our financial health is most important. It helps us to get the things that we want out of life. And so the one thing that I can say is, out of my career, I spent a lot of my time doing financial wellness, and it's a lot of the reasons why I'm here at PNC. So PNC, we are a 160-year-old bank. We are now a newly national bank, which is really cool. We are the #5 bank in all of the United States. But the best part about us is that we have a hometown feel, right? When you think about it, is mainstream banking. We are part of this in Boston. It's called Solution Centers, where our job is to go and work with people in the community and businesses to help you all with education, right, on how to get the things that we want in life. So today's topic, we are going to cover identity protection. And it's an important topic because there's a lot of things out there that are very scary, right? And sometimes those scary things, they kind of stop us from moving forward. So we want to make sure that we understand what identity protection is and what we can do to help protect you as you're, here. But, and we'd also like to set up a follow-up one-on-one appointment where we can help you individually and protect you from any scams or anything that is out there. So the first question for you is, what percentage of consumers avoid mobile payment wallets because of security concerns? Does anybody want to answer that?
I would say 30 to 40%.
Exactly. Yes, Janine, 30 to 40%. People are very nervous of avoiding mobile payment wallets. So what a mobile payment wallet is you can have on your smartphone. So for example, Apple, it would be Apple Pay, where you add your credit card to your phone. And people are very leery of that, of that. So it's very interesting because that's a pretty high percentage. And it's fascinating too, because it's, in order to use Apple Pay, you need to put your PIN number in, or you need to put your fingerprint or your face. So there is a lot of security with that, but it's very interesting. So we're going to cover identity theft. What is it? Why is it an issue? What could it affect? The second one is ways your identity can be compromised, how to help protect yourself, and then what to do if your identity is compromised. Right? So identity theft of it says when somebody steals your piece of the pie, right? So your pie is your personal identification. So that would be your social security number, any sort of banking numbers, your date of birth. So anything where somebody could steal something that is private, that is yours. So your credit card number and utilizes it. Anybody ever have an experience that they want to share with identity theft?
Yes, I would. I currently have a family member for over a year has been a victim of elder financial abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a legal guardian for this person, but I do have a durable power of attorney. It's been an ongoing situation, so this is very important and sensitive topic for me because it is so fresh. It has occurred over the internet, and I found through many resources that that is the most complicated, most difficult, and most highly criminalized activity that's happening at this time, that it's encompassed many different financial resources, not just of the person involved, but also the family members that are exposed to this experience.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of information that I would like to ask of you at the end of this presentation, because it is such a highly involved situation that's taking place in my life.
Yes, Janine, and we're happy to help you. I'm sorry that you've experienced that. But yes, it is, and it is a highly sensitive topic, right? And so we want to make sure we can be here to help you through it.
Okay, thank you.
And what can it affect, right? So we just talked about it. It doesn't just affect you, but it affects the people around you, right? And so we want to take steps to protect you. So right here, it just talks about, protecting your identity. So what is identity theft? So it's a crime when somebody steals pieces of your personal information. So that's what piece of your pie means, right? So your name, driver's license, social security number, or account number, right? Account numbers could be your checking account number, it could be your credit card number. But it's often where they can drain your assets, open new accounts in your name, apply for credit, and change purchases to you. How do they get your information, right? So we question that, like, how we know that online is a big area, but where can they get it, right? So we need to be aware that thieves can steal information right from your mailbox, garbage can, dumpsters, right? People have also been had it through telemarketing scams, computer hacking in some cases. Thieves pay retail clerks and other people with access to your personal information to copy it and pass it along. And then the impact of it is it can impact your ability to make big purchases. So if you were looking to buy a home or a car or get a passport or a driver's license, those things could impact you. So it has a pretty big impact. I kind of want to circle it back to, when they talk about telemarketing scams, and there's some big ones going on, even in this, and it goes everywhere, but we've seen it recently is, people will call and pretend to be your son or your grandson and say, I'm in jail. I don't tell anybody. I'm embarrassed. I'm humiliated. But I need you to transfer money now because I need to get, I need to get out of, I need to get out of jail. They play on your heartstrings, right? So in a situation like that, a lot of times people don't know what to do. You see the person that you love, you believe they're in a tough situation, you'll do anything for them. And so they play on that. And so I think it's important to share that. The one thing I can tell you to always do if you ever get a call like that is call that person back on their cell phone, not the number that called you, because you always want to make sure of that. There's also like romance romance scams where they want to start to be like a boyfriend or girlfriend and they work that angle. So those are a couple of the most common ones that I've seen. Okay. And then ways identity can be compromised, right? So we have the purchasing scams. So non-payment, non-delivery, overpayment, or advanced, right? So let's go through it. So sorry, I went too fast. So, you know, you're online. And so we talked about a lot of online, right? So you're online and you make a payment, you want to purchase something, but the goods never come. So that's one area where there is a massive scam. So you're online and you think it's a reputable website, or maybe you see it on Facebook or whatever, but you don't know, you want to buy that and it never comes to you. Overpayment means sometimes they'll tell you, I'm going to give you this much money. I need you to refund me, but I'm going to refund you. And you think you're going to come up against a lot of money. So, if anybody ever says to you, Janine, I'm going to give you a check for $1 million. You just have to give me $2,000 back. It sounds too good to be true. It is. Nobody's going to, give you something like that. But it gets exciting. So people want to do that. And then also like the advance. So, paying for something in advance. So just being aware of that. And then emotional scams, right? So some of the things that I said, so lottery or sweepstakes, like we think we won the lottery. We think we're already picturing our new lifestyle. And so we get very excited and, the scammers play upon our emotions. And so we think, oh, we need to do this. And then we give our information because the money's coming our way. So then they're able to get a piece of our pie, if you will. The confidence fraud or romance, right? So, something that's going to make you feel good. You're like, okay, I need to, this person's making me feel good. They need money. They're in a tough situation, right? I'm going to just give them money. And then you realize, then they go missing, right? So we realize that they're not here for what they say they're here for. So, people do play on emotions, just like I told you earlier. And it's not in here, but I wanted to share that story, back to the playing on your heartstrings of a family member that's in trouble. That's a tough one because it's like almost a fight or flight response. And we want to get right in there and help them. But again, we need to just stop and ask the question to ourselves before moving forward. And then we have the government scams, which is just scary, right? So then the government's calling and saying, this is the IRS, you owe this much money. We're thinking we're going to end up in jail. So, whenever you get something like this, so even under the lottery, you want to call the lottery, right? You want to make sure that you do your due diligence and make that extra phone call because it's important, right? It's important to just not trust your emotions in that situation, but to really verify. So trust, but verify that the situation. And the good news is you can always call your banker, right? Like you could always reach out and call me if you're ever in a situation like that. That's what our role is here for. We're here to help you. So anything that is revolved around money, you have a lifeline, and it's, a non-judgmental person that you could pick up the phone and say, Kelly, this just happened. What do you think about it? And it's very powerful to have that. And not many people recognize that is our job is to help you, anything that has to do with money. So again, then we talk about technology scams, right? So sometimes there's two things. There's the personal data breach and then phishing, right? So the personal data breach, that's a lot of times like something will come up to have you change your password. I remember Amazon was doing that. It wasn't Amazon, but somebody was using Amazon, change your password, and then they have access to everything. And then phishing is them asking, they're sending you an email, you click on it with an attachment, and then you put your information in because you think that that's something that's, to buy something or whatever, but you're giving all of that information to use. So some signs, right? So we just talked, it's an email. So signs of a phishing scam. So here are some. So dear Jane, remember you owe us $35.65. To verify your account, provide your mailing address and your social security number. You can log in with your password below. So Anybody want to point out any red flags on this email?
Yeah, your is spelled incorrectly.
Yeah, your is spelled incorrectly. Anything else?
The description indicating a great amount of urgency and importance of sending it now.
Yes. Absolutely, because that's what they do. They make you move really fast. And they create a lot of urgency. So it's before you can make that, that a decision. They work on that. Like respond immediately. I need to move fast. Anything else? How about the email address, right? It says from john.doe@yourbank.de.net, right? So you always want to pay attention to the email address of something that you're getting sent. For example, I had an email sent to me and it looked like a very reputable person, and they wanted me to send information back. But the difference, so I'm like, something feels weird. Something feels a little off here, right? And so when I noticed that, I Googled the person and I Googled their website. And the difference between the person that I Googled and the person who sent me the email address was the .org. So the phishing one was .com. When I looked to see the real person, it was .org. So it's very, like, they're very crafty, and it's, it's something as small as that. So you always want to be aware of the email address. If you start to get that feeling, right, of like something doesn't feel right, that's where you want to ask those questions. You want to investigate a little bit more. And then another one here, it says, this is the IRS. It's hard to see. I'm trying to move this thing if I can. This is the IRS. You're overdue this amount of money in taxes. And then you write, no, but I filed it on time. You may be aware our filing system had issues. I'll need you to pay now over the phone. I can pay by mail. To avoid late fees and potential jail time, you'll need to provide your credit card number, CVV, and expiration date now. Anybody identify the red flags in this text message?
The IRS never sends you an email.
Or text,
or
right?
a text, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that there's also no person associated with the agency that is behind this text, specifically name, confirmation number, any kind of official identification of the sender other than just name.
Exactly. It's just a blank. There's nothing on here. It's a blank text message from somebody that you don't know saying that you're the IRS. And then also notice, right, there's at the end, it says, I need it now. So again, the urgency, right? So that's a theme here. There's a lot of urgency. And the IRS wouldn't talk to you like that either. They'd, so just things to notate. Oh, I guess I went too fast. We already just talked about it. All right, it's not just scams. There's other ways that thieves can get your information, right? So they could steal it, which we talked about that, right? They can go into our garbage. They can go into our recycling bin. They can just take it from your wallet. Sometimes they could just take it. They can access it electronically, right? We discussed that already. They can get it from right from a vendor that you're using. So you could be buying something at Pottery Barn and somebody hijacked and they were able to get access to your information. We also know they can get it from a gas station, right? That's another area where a lot of people have found identity theft there. They can find it online. They can use malware, and they can hack into a database. So malware is like a virus where so that you can't go any further until you put this your information in. But there's a lot of different ways that they can get it. And how to protect yourself. So some active ways that you can protect yourself, right? So it's important to shred your documents. We think if we're throwing it out, who's going to go through our garbage? there's like food in there, it's nasty, but people do, right? Ensure that it is safe before sharing your pie, right? So before sharing anything, which is your private information, you want to make sure that you ensure it's safe. So if a bank calls you and says, hey, can I have your social security number? That's not something we would do. So you don't want to rely on who's calling you, like the name, like you want to make sure that you've done your due diligence of knowing who that person on the other line is. There is a thing called identity theft reimbursement insurance. So you can consider that. You could use online statements instead of paper statements because again, they go through the mail. You can review your personal credit report. So there's a couple different credit reporting agencies. You can do the annual credit reporting agencies, but there are also other credit reporting that you could utilize and they don't use the same, so it's not apples to apples, but at least it's good for monitoring. I know like Credit Karma might be one of them. Enroll in email alerts. So when you think about your banking here, it's important to have alerts on your account, right? So if like there's a large purchase or something that's outside of your regular transaction history, it's good to have an email or even a text alert to keep you in the know pretty quickly. So some ways to help yourself online. You want to keep your devices up to date, back your computer up regularly, use safe methods of payments, and use password best practices. So most password best practices are alphanumeric plus a special figure. So it would be like, using a special character. You want to make sure you have letters and numbers, and you want to make sure at least one of them is capitalized because you don't want to make it easy because you don't want somebody to, to figure out what your password is. This is your private information. And most new places, anything that you set, you reset a password, they usually ask this. And then monitor your credit report and your credit score. So yeah, it's important to monitor your credit report. We want to make sure it can prevent you from identity theft, but also I know we spoke, I don't know if anybody joined last week, but monitoring your credit report and increasing your credit score can help save you money, and it helps you with managing your money. It's a really good habit. So that's something that we also do here to help you all. So signs that your information may be compromised. So you have account charges that you don't recognize. Your password is no longer working. Friends report receiving strange emails from you. Your computer is excessively slow. New programs appear on it. You get notifications from the IRS or that your social security number was used. And you're receiving collection calls, right, for accounts that you didn't open. So these are some of this is, when this happens, you want to look into it, right? Especially like you have accounts that you don't recognize. You want to talk to your banker. We can look at that. And then what to do if it happens. So if you think your information has been compromised, you want to always review your transactions. Check your credit report. Place a 90-day credit alert on your credit report file, which you can do that. You can freeze your credit report or put an alert on it. If you know your information has been compromised, notify all your financial institutions where you have an account. Consider a security freeze on your credit report to block inquiries. And then you want to report your identity theft. And at the end of we are all in this together, right? So it mixes and it affects your life, right? And it can take some time to fix. The scams are constantly evolving. So it's understanding, right? What will companies do? So knowing that, what do you do when you feel something's off? And just knowing to not make that emotional decision and having support behind you, right? I think having that support and knowing you have somebody is very important. Check your credit report, maybe utilizing some of those tools, and then, know what to do. Sorry, this is your, know what to watch for and what to do if it happens to you. And so from here, so some of the things that we can do for you is we would love the opportunity to talk to you individually, right? So what is your current plan for identity theft? What are you doing right now to protect yourself? What do you do in a situation where you don't, something happens? Do you have that person to call, right? And so that's the number one thing about who we are at PNC. We are here to help you. We are here to help you with anything that has to do with your money. And we have our products that are here to help. So when you think about identity theft, we have a lot of different solutions for you, to talk about that. So what I would love to do is open it up to all of you for questions, and also, see if we can set some time up individually to talk about your personal situation and see what we can do to support you.
Kelly, we have a question in the chat. This is going back to the identity theft reimbursement insurance. Is that available through a third party or client's banking institution?
So that would be available. What we could do is talk to our financial advisor, see if we have that here. It would typically be through a third party, or it could be one of our business partners. So I can get that information for you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, well, what I can do is I can give you my information now if we would like to set up a follow-up meeting, one-on-one. My name, again, is Kelly McCarthy. My email address is Kelly, so it's KELLEY .McCarthy, MCCARTHY @PNC.com. And my phone number is 781-406-2407. And I would love the opportunity to be your banker here.
Great. Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you for coming and presenting this valuable information to us again. I want to remind people, definitely reach out to Kelly and her team for one-to-one conversation if you want to know more about PNC Bank or today's topic of identity theft or our last topic of credit history. Again, I want to remind you that this workshop will be posted on our YouTube channel and sent to all participants. And I will also include Kelly's information again, in case you didn't get a chance to write it down. But unless we have any further questions, great. Someone is going to reach out to you, Kelly. That's no surprise there. So
I love it.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. I want to wish everyone a great day and be safe.
Thank you, Liz. Thank
you, Kelly.
Bye.